It finally happened. And if you've been on the internet for a while, then I'm sure you're familiar with the streamer of Johnny Somali, an absolute menace, being an absolute degenerate in society. Johnny Somali is basically an IRL streamer, except not the good kind, creating as much discomfort and chaos as possible in foreign countries nonetheless. And his biggest recent case is in Korea, just being very inappropriate and rubbing himself on sacred statues. For context, this statue here resembles sex slavery in Korean history, and Johnny is just having his way with it. And he takes it a step further by creating some deepfake porn of him with a Korean streamer. It's like, brother, what the hell? How do you get to this point in life where you're wired this way to act the way that you do? It's just, what went wrong in your life? Now, as I said before, Johnny has done this in previous countries, most notably in Japan, where he basically did the same level of shenanigans. Except the issue in Japan is that they just gave the boy a slap on the wrist. They didn't really do much. They didn't really set an example, which is really surprising because Japan seems to be a big target for like tourists just harassing them. Well, the good old country of Korea decided to take it a different approach and wanted to make more of an example of him, because it's just been reported that Johnny Somali has been found guilty of all charges in South Korea and he'll be sentenced to prison with labor. It's been said that he'll be sentenced to prison for about 6 months, which is a little disappointing because it was originally projected to be at least 3 years, but I'm glad that he just received anything at all. I'm surprised that like we even had a resolution to this, because this originally happened I think almost 2 years ago, and I think since then they've had Johnny captivity in Korea for that duration. It's finally nice to see we get some closure for this. Now, in terms of what Johnny has said, he's actually posted an apology in the past, except it's just very wishy-washy, man. He'll say like, oh, I've been born in the US, I'm not used to these kind of things. It's like, brother, no matter where you're born, you should not like disrespect another country's culture. It's just no-brainer. In my entire life of living, I can't remember the last time Korea has arrested a foreigner, or at least a public figure to this matter. This is like something North Korea would do, but this is definitely justified at least. Here's actually a good summary of the trial from a lawyer that's in Korea right now.
Right, you're hearing it first from me on X here, that we got out of the trial for Johnny Somali, and we have good news. He is sentenced to prison with labor, 6 months and 20 days with labor. All of his possessions were confiscated. He has sex offender status for 5 years in Korea, so he cannot be around any women or children anywhere around that, or disabled people, and that's really good news. However, the bad news is that he was sentenced for under the 3 years expected. So we do have the possibility of the prosecutor appealing that, as well as the defendant appealing that. We'll get an update within 7 days on whether there's an appeal.
I guess in about a week's time, we'll know a better, we'll get a better understanding of what his final sentencing will look like. But regardless, this is a big W for Korea, and just for any country that just has a lot of tourists come through. For some reason, these damn IRL streamers are just so brain rotted, just so content pilled, that they'll do anything for the views, even if it comes at the cost of a country's dignity. Because if Korea never did this, then Johnny or even the next annoying IRL streamer will just keep continuing this trend and just puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Like not even that long ago, we had an example of another creator creating havoc in another foreign country in the form of Vitaly and his time in the Philippines. I can't remember the specifics, but I think he basically just did too many intrusive pranks that warranted him behind bars, and good on the Philippines for actually doing something about it. So with these examples, hope we can finally put a nail in the coffin of the stupid trend of basically just being a dick. And yeah, that's all I really got. Bye-bye.